Section 1, Video 2. Now we're going to focus on power of a power, power of a product, and power of a quotient rule. So power of a power algebraically is a to the m power raised to the n power. In this case, we would take the two powers and multiply them. Unlike when we had two like bases being multiplied where we would add exponents, here we have a power raised to a power, so we multiply them. An example would be x to the third raised to the fourth, and that shorthand would be one power times the other, and we get x to the 12th. Again, longhand, that would be 4x cubes. That's what x cubed to the fourth power means. And now if you go back to our first rule of product of powers rule, we would add them all up, and we would get x to the 12th. So again, that's the longhand way. This would be the shorthand way. Power of a product rule is when we have more than one term, so a, b raised to a power. So there's more than one thing in the parentheses. Now in this case, this is a distribution question. So we would get a to the n, b to the n to get rid of parentheses. An example for that would be 2x to the fifth power. We would distribute, which would give us 2 to the fifth, x to the fifth. 2 to the fifth can be calculated, which would give you 32x to the fifth. So again, distributing it among the inside the parentheses. Now, one important key here. If I have x plus 5, where it's not a product but a sum, I do not distribute the power. Because remember, what I just showed you is a product, a power of a product rule. Inside the parentheses is a product, a multiplication process, not some two items being added or subtracted. We cannot distribute a power when we have a binomial, in this case, in the parentheses, or a trinomial, or whatever the case may be. You can only multiply that power when we have a monomial on the inside of the parentheses. Last one, quotient rule. Quotient means division. So now we're talking about, instead of a multiplication or a product going on inside the parentheses, now we have a quotient or a division. Same rule applies though. Distribute. We get a to the n over b to the n. Example there would be x over 2, all raised to the third power. We would distribute that power and get x to the third over 2 to the third, which actually can be calculated. 2 to the third is 8. And this ends Section 1, Video 2.